viewers, welcome to the Editorial Analysis by Drishti IAS. In this section, we regularly take editorials from various newspapers and news portals for a better understanding of various issues happening in India and around the globe. Dear viewers, in this section, we first try to link the editorial with our UPSC syllabus. Then we go analytical in order to understand some key points and at last some important concepts. Dear viewers, we truly hope that you like this initiative taken by Dristhi IAS and your feedbacks are important for us. So kindly feel free to give your important feedbacks in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's commence our session.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
Today's editorial is taken from Financial Express, published on 26th of October 2020. The title of today's editorial is An Indian SpaceX. If we try to summarize today's editorial, we can say that there is a tremendous need of a policy to tap private sector talent for space taking shape. If we try to link today's editorial with our UPSC syllabus, we can link it with GS paper 3, that includes technology and primarily with the section respect to awareness in the field of IT, space, nanotechnology, etc. Some key points from today's editorial. While Elon Musk SpaceX launched 60 new satellites under its Starlink project last week, taking the count to over 500, he plans to launch 30,000 satellites in the future. India has so far steadfastly refused to open the sector up to the private players. Now, here, the information that we are talking about is with respect to the SpaceX organization, which under their Starlink project have launched around 60 new satellites. However, with respect to India, if we see that so far the Indian space sector is not allowed for private players, and the government now is feeling that definitely there is a great need of introducing the private players into this sector. So SpaceX is an American company whose full name is Space Exploration Technologies Corporation. It is an American aerospace manufacturer and space transportation services company, and its headquarters are located in California. This company was founded in the year 2002 by Elon Musk. So, and what is the Starlink project? So Starlink project is a SpaceX project. That means this project is started by SpaceX organization to build a broadband network. A broadband network. It is to be noted that this project is to build a broadband network with a cluster of orbiting spacecraft that could eventually number to 1,000. Like I said, they have started with 60. So far, the satellite launch have been around 500. And later on, they actually plan to take this number to around 30,000 satellites. All these satellites that I'm talking about here will be LEOs, that is low Earth orbit satellites. Okay, we will talk about the low Earth orbit, what exactly it is, in the later half of the session. Now, the public sector ISRO has done very well in certain aspects of the space game, but with not enough players in the business, India has suffered in many critical ways. Now, like I said, there is a great need of private players, though the public sector organization, that is ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, they have performed brilliantly with all the facilities that has been provided to them. They have definitely worked above the expectation of the people of this country. But still, there is a great need of introducing private players into this sector as well. Apart from the fact that India does not have enough satellite to meet its needs, satellite technology has improved by leaps and bounds. In the 2000s, satellites had a 2 Gbps capacity, gigabytes per second, while this has risen to 500 Gbps now, and over the next few years, the speed of satellites would be around 100 to 2000 gigabytes per second. So we have to see that with time, the satellite technology is also improving, and they have improved tremendously. Okay. Indeed, ISRO is so short of capacity, a large part of the capacity it offers is rented from overseas private satellite firms. It should be noted that right now there is a tremendous amount of need of reforms in ISRO as well. We need a great funding. The situation at times become so bad that ISRO has to rent some of the technology which they are using from the private satellite firms which are located abroad. And this shortage is going to get worse with each passing day. Now let's talk about the present scenario. Now the TRAI, that is Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, data shows that over just the last 5 years, data consumption in the country, it has raised almost by 100 times. Now in March 2015, see, the data consumption in the country over the last 5 years, it has increased by great figure, almost by 100 times. During March 2015, the average consumption per subscriber, per internet user was around 0.1 gigabytes. But today, in March 2020, if we take the data from March 2020, it has increased to over 11 gigabytes. So we can see how much difference has been created over the last 5 years. Indeed, with better technology, demand will continue to skyrocket. As an example, a standard TV uses 4 lakh megapixel per frame, but this goes up to 2 million for the HD TV and to 8 million for the 4K TV. See, as the technology gets better, demand also increases. The best example can be seen in the television industry. Now, if we talk about a normal color television, now it uses almost around 4000 megapixels. Now, when we speak about megapixels, it is to be noted that we're not talking in terms of cameras here. Now, the more the megapixels are, see, you can have a better detailed version of the image that is being shown on the television. Or you can say that there will be even more sharpness, even more clarity in the picture with better megapixels. So we have an example here that even if we talk about a standard television, need definitely gets completed. It has around 4 lakh megapixel, but the moment you come to a HD TV, that is a high definition television, or if we talk about a 4K television. Now 4K television means a TV which has got a 4K resolution. See, a 4K TV has two kind of pixels. Number one is the horizontal pixels. Now if you talk about horizontal pixel, it will have 3848 horizontal pixels, and there is another pixel which is known as the vertical pixel. It will have 2160 pixels. So if you ever see a 4K television, what you will see is on the box of that television, there will be something like this imprinted on the box. You will find out this kind of numbers on the box of the television, and this actually makes the entire television around 8.3 million megapixel. See, this actually will make the 4K television as 8.3 million megapixel television. So with improvement in quality, things do change, things do get better, okay? People want to have the best experience for everything. Now, so while a single transponder can cater to 4 standard television, it can cater to just one HD channel. So, you know, there is a satellite transponder with reference to television. If we talk about a television satellite, see, a transponder does one thing, that a transponder on a television satellite, it receives a TV signal. That TV signal is beamed from a large satellite uplink station, and then this transponder actually processes, encodes and amplifies, and then you see that particular thing on the television. So if we talk about a normal television, a single transponder can serve 4 standard TV channels, 4 standard TV channels. I'm not talking about HD. But the moment that same transponder comes to an HD TV, it can only serve just one HD channel. So you can see the difference here. Same transponder with reference to standard TV serves 4 channels, but when it comes to an HD TV, it serves only one HD channel. See, so you have a better quality. Everything that you see in an HD print, HD TV, or you can see an HD screen, you will have a better view, you will have a better look at everything. An even greater problem is that despite the rapid spread of telecom services, India has a tele-density of 86%. Large swaths of the country remain uncovered by a genuine broadband. See, India has a very huge cover of around 86%. That means around 86% people in India, they have an access to a television. However, still there are many patches, many places, even in the metropolitans, you will find many places where you do not have a genuine broadband, a broadband connection, okay, genuine broadband connection services. So it is quite required that we have to focus upon this problem. Satellite technology offers a way out since it can offer commercially viable broadband connectivity to even areas that are not densely populated. So if there is an improvement in the satellite technology, we can ensure one thing, that places which are not that densely populated, even those places can definitely have a very economically affordable broadband. That is why, for instance, Airtel founder Sunil Mittal bought a stake in OneWeb some months ago. Now, OneWeb basically is a United Kingdom based company that plans to set up hundreds of low Earth orbits. I told you in the beginning, the LEOs, the low Earth orbits, the LEO satellites. Now, what exactly LEO, low Earth orbit satellites are? First of all, it is about the orbit that we have to know. Now, low Earth orbit is basically an Earth-centered orbit, and its altitude is only 2000 kilometers. Only 2000 kilometers or less. In this particular altitude region, these satellites will actually float. Also, it can be said that the low Earth orbit satellites are those satellites which on an average serve a total of 11.25 orbital periods per day. Now, if I talk about an orbital period, one orbital period is equal to 128 minutes or less. Maximum is 128 minutes, and it can be at times lesser. So this is with reference to the low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit within an altitude of 2000 kilometers or lesser. Okay, so satellites that will float in this region will be in this particular category, and they will be called as the low Earth orbit satellites. To deliver affordable wireless internet services to anywhere in the world. While the low Earth orbit operate between 500 to 2000 kilometers above the Earth, the traditional geostationary satellites, they actually operate at around 36,000 kilometers. You can see the difference, and this can be a question they can ask definitely in UPSC about the difference between the distance, at what distance the GEOs can perform, at what distance the LEOs can perform. Now, what exactly is the future ahead? Of course, coming up with a new policy, the draft was released last week, and it working are two different things. Now, government has come up with many initiatives also. See, when we talk about past, in the past, governments have tried to take some very good initiative. Like during 1999-2000, the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government, they came up with a plan which was known as the UN Escape. Now, the UN Escape program was basically United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. This convention, it happened in New Delhi, and the idea that came was to bring the private partners into the space technology domain of the country. However, the implementation could not get framed even till 2010. The present government has also come up with several initiatives such as the Space Activity Bill. Okay. Now, framing a policy is one thing, but making it implemented, making it workable is other thing. So government has to be sure that whatever policy they are coming up with, they have to make sure that those policies are being implemented. And when under these rules, the US headquartered firm's highest network system put in an application to build satellite with data speeds which at that time were 100 times what India's conventional satellites offered, no decision was taken. Indeed, the proposal had still not been cleared, So that decision that was taken, that initiative that I talk about, that started in 1999, 2000. But there were several issues like mentioned here, and it could not get completed or properly implemented. The new policy now says private operators will be allowed to undertake design, development and realization of satellites and associated communication systems. So if the new policy comes into picture, according to that new policy, the private operators will be allowed to design, to develop and realize the satellites and the communication systems which would be totally associated with it. So they can either build their satellite or procure satellite to create a satellite system and establish telemetry, tracking and command earth stations and satellite control center within or outside the country. So if the policy works out and private operators are allowed, they will have the liberty of building their satellites or procuring the satellites. They can also establish telemetry. Now, what exactly telemetry is? Now, telemetry is basically the process of recording and transmitting the readings of an instrument. They can do that. They can establish their command centers. They can establish their satellite control systems according to their will, whether in the country or outside the country. And to ensure new players have a level playing field, a National Indian Space Promotion and Authorization Center will be set up as a neutral regulator. If everything works out, there will be a regulatory agency under the name the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center. It will ensure that each and every operator is having a level playing field and no undue or unnecessary advantage is being received by any operator. If ISRO now focuses primarily on technology transfers and helping build capacity, India can even aim at having its own SpaceX. Now, if ISRO focuses on technology transfer and ISRO also helps in capacity building, then the chances are quite high that in the next few years, India too can have its own SpaceX-like organization. Okay, the last frontier then would truly have been breached. And if that happens, then definitely we can say that we have actually conquered this region. Or we can say that this particular territory of space exploration has been conquered by the able scientists of India. So viewers, this was with today's editorial. Now, some questions that can be asked, like this question, it has been asked previously. Here questions could be on the satellite systems, the geostationary orbit, okay, or the low Earth orbit. So satellites used for communication relay are kept in a geostationary orbit, and satellite is said to be in such an orbit when. You have all the four options. Accordingly, you can choose your answer and give the correct one. Also, mains-based questions that could be framed from this particular editorial. Number 1, improvement in space technology not only established India as a space power, but also has economic and geostrategic importance. Examine. Number 2, ISRO's role has been impeccable in making India a global space power. However, there are many challenges and opportunities in the new space age that ISRO needs to address. Discuss in 200 words. So viewers, this was with today's editorial. I hope you liked today's editorial. Thank you very much.